I know you.
Welcome back for another episode of Menopause Tales from the Front Lines. And I have a special guest today that I am very excited to share with everyone. And I will affectionately refer to her as the GOAT, meaning greatest of all time, because as I get older, I have realized that she becomes wiser and wiser, meaning that the things that she did for me as a young woman and as a child, and now as an older woman, I'm so grateful because I have lost that edge that you have when you're a child and when you're a teenager and when you're in your 20s and 30s and 40s and think you know everything. That um she has a lot of wisdom to impart, and I was luckily the recipient of it. And so this person, her name is Cheryl, and as my partner would call her, Cheryl. And I always tell him, Jamie, her name is Cheryl. It's spelled Cherryl. And he said, no, I want her to spell it Shirl so I can call it Cheryl. So Cheryl is my mom. And I wanted her to tell me, or today, a little bit about her menopause story, because if I do the math, I think that she was going through menopause when she was also getting diagnosed with a pretty serious autoimmune. And that's all I remember. I don't remember her complaining about hot flashes or night sweats. In fact, I actually don't ever recall my mom ever complaining about anything other, she's not a complainer. She's a very much a suck it up, get it done type of person. So, Mom, do you remember when you went through menopause?
Of course.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
How old
Yeah.
were you?
48.
Okay. So, like, same as me. I was like either 48 or it was 49 when I got it confirmed.
Right. Well, it's the uncertainness of knowing when you're going to come on your period or not and
Yeah.
being prepared.
Yeah. So what were your symptoms like?
Hot flashes every 20 minutes.
Oh, okay.
Um, and preceding the hot flash, you always got a feeling of anxiety. Initially, you're not sure why you're feeling anxious, but then after a few months, you get to realize that that's all part of it.
Yeah.
And having to urinate right then, just have to go.
Okay.
And and of course, then the hot flash follows, and
Yeah.
then cold again, and
Yeah.
people look at you like you're not making any sense, but you truly are feeling those symptoms.
Did you have night sweats?
Oh yes,
Okay.
yeah, yeah.
Okay.
And
Well, I think it's important. Like I've talked about my night sweats, and if I have a lot of sugar, or when I did have a lot of sugar, they'll come on. If I'm getting from my coach a refeed where he'll say lots of, I want you to take your carbs up to a certain amount, that makes me sweat. And if I had wine, but you were not a drinker at all. Like you don't drink alcohol at all. So
I've never
no,
felt the need.
did you did you ever correlate it to the food that you were eating? Because you're also a very healthy eater. I mean, you and Jake are your typical whole foods eaters. Like you guys don't eat out much. You never do, you barely do takeout. Um, so you guys would have been like meat, starch, vegetables.
That's right. Yeah,
So
it never occurred to me that it could be food.
no, okay.
Oh,
Caffeine.
I had to give up coffee.
Okay.
Yes. Yeah.
And why did you have to give up coffee?
Oh, because of bladder irritation.
Ah, okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
because
Okay.
that goes along with, a weakness in your bladder.
Yeah, yeah.
Giving up coffee worked for a long time.
Pardon me?
And giving up coffee worked for a long time.
Yeah,
That
and
I didn't get that urgency anymore.
oh, that's good. You don't, and you still don't drink coffee because I know that when we go away together, you always order tea for breakfast.
Yeah, yeah. And
So
green tea now.
you drink green tea now? Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
But you also drink a lot of herbal tea.
Yes, one green tea a day, which I absolutely love.
Yeah. So
Then the rest.
when were you going through menopause when you got your scleroderma diagnosis?
Well, I was 52 when I got the diagnosis. So, if menopause really it does last longer than 4 years.
Yeah.
Um, so yes, I suppose I was. I was put on red clover as well by a doctor of naturopath
Yeah.
to help with the hot flashes, but really it didn't do anything.
Okay. Yeah. Sometimes those homeopathic medicines don't do enough, and it's hard to know what a clinical dose, like how much to take for a clinical dose, you know?
Yes.
Um, yeah, I was thinking today earlier, like we never discussed menopause ever. Like
Okay.
like you and I. Yeah, we never did. And I know you say okay, but look at I'm gonna be fully transparent here. For years, I felt, what was the word? I'm going to be dramatic because I have to be dramatic. That's me. Scarred for life. That when I told you I got my period for the first time, you were like, okay, fine. For today, pads are all good and fine, but you're an athlete and you like to swim and you go to gymnastics practice every day. So you're going to have to wear a tampon. And I remember going like, oh, no. And you took me into the bathroom and you said, this is how you do it. And you showed me, and I couldn't do it. And you go, okay, I'll just do it on myself. And you showed me how to do it. And I was like, and then you left me in the bathroom to figure it out because you gave me privacy because I was like so overwhelmed. And I remember coming out of the bathroom walking like a stick man. And you said to me, why are you walking like that? And I go, I don't know. And then you said, okay, because is it in? And I said, yes. And you said, I don't remember exactly, like, was I in pain or did I feel anything? And I said, no. And then I asked you, can I sit down? And I feel like you said to me, oh, don't be so bloody foolish. And I remember sitting like, can I sit down? And why why that sticks in my mind is because I was so overly embarrassed about the whole situation. And I have shared that story with friends, and they'll say to me, you're lucky. My mother wouldn't even talk to me about it. My mother told me I wasn't allowed to wear tampons. I have girlfriends that have had children that won't wear a tampon. And you know who you are because you're probably going to watch this.
How awful because a tampon is the only way to go if you
I
want to
know.
be active. Yeah.
Well, my girls, I have one that wears tampons and the other one wears a diva cup. And she's like, oh, like she's Miss Natural and she's got her, and I go to her, I could never do that. I don't have to worry about it anymore. But it was funny because we've always talked about everything and uncomfortable things, but we just never talked about your menopause. I do not remember you complaining or acting weird. I mean, mind you, I didn't live at home anymore. I mean, I was already a mom and living my life. So I just don't remember it. But did you did you talk to your doctor about it?
I'm trying to think. I don't know. Well, you have mood swings, right?
Yeah.
So I remember saying to the doctor about the mood swings, and she suggested, and I do it to this day, evening of primrose oil
Yep.
and vitamin B6.
Right.
And I do that religiously every day. And that straightens everything out because you will still get I forget what the term is. It's not PSI symptoms. It's
Or PMS?
PMS symptoms.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
Yeah. So, and that was marked on the calendar so that I could understand why I felt bitchy.
Right, right. I
Yeah.
mean, and that's just that your body going through its natural, like, the dwindling estrogen, and then still getting the, like you're still getting estrogen and progesterone, but there could be a big disparity between the two, and that's really what PMS is. It's
Okay.
what we have done is attached, because everybody makes jokes about it, attached emotions to it, meaning that I have to have chocolate, or I'm so bitchy, or I'm so this. I know for myself, I never got bitchy because that's never my default. My default, as you know, is sucky. So I was always extra sucky. Like I remember one time driving down one of those streets in Midtown Toronto during the winter, and the garbage truck was there, and I couldn't get around. And the garbage man is yelling at me to back up, but I couldn't back up because there was a car behind me. And I just remember sitting there, and I was in perimenopause, just crying my eyes out because this man was like going, back up, back up. And you know what? Now I look at it, I think, of course he'd be angry. Like he's trying to do his job. And here's this woman in her SUV, trying to navigate. But I never got bitchy. And I would make the excuse, oh, I need to have chocolate. I'm really craving it. But now I realize that a craving is just a thought. And, you know, you don't
Yes.
you don't have to do it. Like there's no physiological. But I don't even remember you getting PMS. Was I that self-absorbed?
I don't remember having PMS actually. Um, Once in a while.
Yeah.
Yeah. I guess we had other stuff going on.
Well, yeah, and you know what? I mean, when I say greatest of all time, and I really mean that, like and you've been very good about this. I've shared that, you had me at 16. Um, you left high school to get married and become a mom. You did go back and get your grade 12 equivalency. Then you went to college. Then you did a women's studies program at York before women's studies was even in vogue. I mean, every woke talker, speaker, presenter has it in their bio now, like women's studies or women and gender studies. But you did that before. I mean, you did that ages ago, before anybody found it interesting. I think that had I not come in the scene on the scene at 16, you probably would have had quite a remarkable academic career, because you are quite smart and you love learning, and you're very curious. Like I love how when the girls want to talk to you, like, when I say the girls, I mean my daughters, your granddaughters, about gender equality and women's things, you're right. Like you're in there, you've got the answers, and the philosophers that Lauren studied in university. So I really do mean that. You took up running before running was even a thing for women. Like you read the Cooper Institute book on aerobic, and I remember it because you made me run, and I hated it with a passion. All I kept thinking was, I have to run for soccer. I have to run for gymnastics. Like I'm tired. I don't want to run. And I'm really glad that you forced me to do it. Like you would stand there with your stopwatch and you'd say, okay, you're going to run the neighborhood. You had mapped out a mile and a half, and you would time me, and you would time yourself, and you needed to have. And when I think about that now, I think, what, I'm really glad that she forced me to do it, because with my own exercise and my own preps, I rise to the challenge. Even though I don't want to do it, I still do it. So you were running in like Keds. You didn't even have proper running shoes.
That's right. I soon got them
Yeah,
because of injuries. Yeah.
yeah, but you were doing this in the 70s when nobody.
Yes, because I was going up our front stairs in Caledon, and I was huffing and puffing, and I was also smoking about 5 or 6 cigarettes a day and had been for about a month. And I realized there wasn't room for the running and the cigarettes. So that was a good way to give it up.
Yeah. No, it was, it's remarkable, like that you just took that up and did it. I think that that's great. So you've always been a little bit ahead of your time. And I make the joke when you and I say if when we go away, we're just a couple of like older ladies going away, both postmenopausal, but really we're very close. I mean, we're 16 years apart. Like when I was 12, you would have been 28. I
Yeah,
think about my own kids at 30 and 33. There's no way they could have a 12-year-old. They barely can walk a dog and take care of a cat. Like, and I don't mean that against them. It's just that their lives they've been allowed to just focus on themselves.
right, right. Well, that's what women's studies did for me, though. It made me realize how my life happened.
Yeah. Well, it's good because I think about all the things that you're my obviously my longest relationship. You've been there for me and witnessed and experienced. I mean, we went through a lot of trauma together. You taught me how to put a tampon in. You just you came and took care of Carly when she was first born and watched me stand inside in the nursery and just stand there and cry and go, I don't know what to do. This is too hard. And you're like, go back to bed. I've got it. Go back to bed. So um I just keep thinking like of all the things, and you never complained once about menopause, which so many women will talk about it and complain. You kept your weight. You never gained weight. You never, I
No,
mean, and if I think about all the things, you're not a drinker, always a healthy eater. You were an avid runner,
yes,
right? Did
yeah,
avid exerciser. You I mean, when you got diagnosed with celiac disease, I was what, 17?
yes, yes,
Because I remember going to the appointment with you.
yeah, yes, to the blackboard talk
Yeah,
about what I could do and couldn't do. Yes,
yeah. And I was grateful to be there because I wanted, I realized what we have to change our lives, like food wise for you. But yeah, you took that all in stride and you did it. So it was good.
thank you.
Well, you're welcome. And thank you just for agreeing to do this because I I think I don't know whether it's generational. I mean, we are obviously one generation apart, but most mothers and daughters are not 16 years apart. So we're more like peers if you think about it. Like, you know, 60.
Yes, yeah,
Yeah, I'm 59, you're 74.
76 this year.
Oh, 76 this year. Okay. My math. Of course you would be. Yeah. Oh, that's right. Because I'm going to turn 60 in January. Um, and I just, I think, wow, my mom never complained about that. She never, and I guess it's all in perspective.
Well, so if I could add one thing, just running isn't the be all and the end all for your body.
No. What did
Um,
running do for you?
it was so good to start it, to accomplish. I felt like a sense of achieving something every time I ran. And it was lovely, the fresh air, and it was lovely to work out problems. But I do think it's terribly hard on your body.
It's hard on
And
the joints and muscle wasting.
yes, and not everybody wants to run. So I
No.
think there's different ways of building your muscles and bones.
Yeah, I no, and I agree. I remember you and I don't, maybe I was a summer student at Ontario Hydro when you were working there, but I don't think I was working there full time yet. You and I signed up for a yoga class. Do you remember that?
I don't.
Oh yeah, we signed up for a yoga class together. And because you knew one of the women that was running it or was doing it. And you had a lot of female friends at work. Like there was a lot, or there was always somebody saying to me, "Oh, you're Cheryl's daughter? Oh, I love your mom. Your mom's this and your mom's that." So of course I never stood there feeling I'd be like, because I would be, your typical ungrateful early 20 something or late teen something. Um, but when we showed up, you and I were wearing like athletic wear, like running shoes, shorts, a t-shirt. And I remember the instructor in hunter green tights with a hunter green leotard.
Hmm.
And she made us do all these weird things. And you and I were like, yeah, it's not for us. Because, I mean, you're going out every day and you're running 5K fast. And me, I think I was going, if I'm correct, for sure I was not doing even aerobics, like teaching group X or anything. So I was probably 19 or 20. There'd be no way I would have been exercising then. I remember I went through that spell where I did nothing. So
That's
to,
pretty normal, though. You just wanted to eat less.
yes, exactly. Or, you know, like the thought of walking anywhere just pretty much put me into a coma.
Yeah.
And now all I want to do is walk. It's great. So thank you. Thank you for joining me and letting me blather on. And,
You're welcome.
is there anything that you'd like to share to try and embarrass me? Because I got to talk about.
Not at all.
No, are you
I'm
sure?
proud of you. Yes, I'm
Good.
sure.
Okay.
I'm proud of you because you're helping so many others.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. Well, you know, it's funny because I get a lot of comments on Instagram, which I'm glad that you have an Instagram account now so that you get to see all of our posts and everything. And I'm not going to tell anybody what your handle is because I don't want them to think that when I get those great comments, this is a fantastic transformation. They're going to say, it's just her mother, you know? Um, what was it? Oh, I get comments like DMs, like little messages that just say, I love your authenticity. I love how open you are. I love how honest you are. And I think, yeah, well, I get that really from you. Like you've always been like that. Like you were the person who would joke around with people when we were getting our groceries checked. And I would be so embarrassed and mad at you, thinking, can't you just do the grocery shopping without having to talk to everybody? And then I remember Carly and Lauren saying to me, I don't want to go into Banana Republic. You have conversations with everybody. You ask them questions about themselves and if they're in school and what they, and I realized like I got that personable side of me from you because you're very curious. You love talking to people. You love asking lots of questions. I remember one time a man said to you, we were grocery shopping, and he said, I don't mean to be forward, but your slip is showing. And you went like this, and he goes, April Fools.
Yeah.
Do you remember that?
Yes.
Do you remember what bad mood I got into because I thought the man was flirting with you?
Yeah.
Yeah. Like I was so protective and I was so angry. Like, how dare you flirt with my mother? Like,
Yeah.
oh, I remember that. Like, and now,
She's she's just a mother.
yeah, exactly. This is not a woman. This is a mother. Like, do not speak to my mom. But then I remember the time I picked up Carly from ski school. We were in Whistler,
Oh, yeah.
and she had this really cute, good looking ski instructor from Australia. And he had the best accent. And so when I came to get her, and I said, so Carly, are you ready to go? And he said, this girl, he was just raving about all the great things that Carly had done that day. And I was like, that's amazing. And he said, Carly, is this your older sister? And I was like, oh, no, I'm her mother. Oh, and Carly was like, because Carly still remembers that story. And she's like, walking, why were you being like that? Why were you acting like that? What was so funny? And I was like, shut up, kid. Like, you know, this young 20 something thinks I'm your older sister. Anyways, okay. So I will let you go. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
And I will let you know when it comes out on my YouTube channel, which will be later today.
Okay, thank you, lovey.
And okay, so I hope
Bye-bye.
you subscribed and liked my channel because every little like helps me.
Okay.
Thanks a lot.
Bye-bye, lovey.
Bye.